Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Arshia Tharakabhushanam, and it means the world to be standing in a place where the works of so many young individuals are being recognized and celebrated. I'm incredibly honored to have received this acknowledgement and, more importantly, a platform to express myself. Writing has always been my personal way of making sense of the things I feel but can't always say. To have my work recognized, and even more, have the opportunity to share it with all of you is something I don't take very lightly. Today, I wanted to talk to you about what we carry as people, because we do. We all carry something with us. Whether we've realized it or not, we are shaped by the places we've come from, the people who have loved us, and the stories we've been told. Sometimes these things weigh on us heavily, and other times we don't actually know how much they've truly influenced us until we take a moment and look back. I'd like to read the poem I wrote describing what I carry, which is additionally the one that got nominated. It's called The Carried. I remember the way the air tasted, different when we first landed, like it wasn't quite made for me. Your hands, shaky with hope, folded boxes of clothes we carried across oceans, and you never let me see the weight of our names on the luggage. I remember the smell of cardamom lingering as you stirred the kheer, the kitchen light soft against your tired hands. Home is a puzzle, pieces too large for one place. You tried to build it with language, your voice thick with the scent of chai, taught me how to say hello, like it was a promise. But I still couldn't find the words that made sense in both tongues. I spoke to them all, but none were mine to keep. I moved through this place like a shadow in the night, learning to blend in, stretching a piece of my history to fit their story. I learned to carry you on my back, like the heavy coats I shed in secret. I carried pieces of home with me, something that never felt quite right, but sounds like love in the cracks. A scent of spices caught on a gust of wind will still pull me back to you. But then I'm here, nowhere and everywhere at once, wondering if either place was ever mine, or if they were truly just both borrowed. Sometimes home is an ache, too loud for quiet rooms, too sharp for the comfort of strangers. The space between your smile and the pull of my name on your lips, a name that never quite fit, but was all I had to bridge the distance between who I was and who I had to be. And so I wonder, is home the place I left behind, or the one I built here, from the ashes of what I carried with me? When I wrote this poem, I wasn't focused on a specific moment in time. I was thinking about the spaces we inhabit as human beings. I mean, the parts of ourselves that we try to make room for. I was trying to make sense of the question of what happens when you try to build a life with pieces of who you were and pieces of who you're becoming, especially when you feel like your identity doesn't fit into one box, but rather stretches across language and borders. I remember standing in the middle of two conversations and feeling like an outsider in both. At home, I sometimes hesitate to speak my own language because I'm scared I'll say something incorrectly. And at school, sometimes I'm scared that if I let that very language into my regular conversations with people, it'll make me sound weird or disconnected. I kept forcing myself to decide whether I was losing something by trying to fit in or just trying to create a space where I belonged. And there still doesn't seem like a clear answer. For myself, the creative process of trying to write something isn't about trying to create something entirely new. It's about connecting the small dots between the things that hold meaning, because those dots are essentially what you carry. For me, one of those dots is the scent of my mother's cooking. Something so simple, but yet as I stand here, I can almost imagine the food in front of me. How it isn't just food, how it's my home. I wrote this poem because I know what it feels like to carry both the weight of belonging and the ache of not quite fitting in. Writing is an attempt to give voice to the things that don't have a place in our conversations. It's about making sure that those topics aren't lost. I write because I believe that things are too important, too sacred to remain unspoken. I write because I've spent my life navigating places that weren't always welcoming. And I write because creativity gives me the power to reclaim who I am as a person and empower me. Every single voice in this room and throughout the world has the perspective to create something that is entirely new. We all carry something with us, and by writing, by creating, we don't just preserve those pieces for ourselves, we make sure that they are passed on, so they aren't left behind. So they live on, not just in us, but in everything we share. Thank you.